Hey third graders, welcome to Module 5, Lesson 17. We are 17/30ths of the way through. So man, we're more than halfway. Today we're going to practice placing various fractions on the number line. Let's get started. On your notes, we're going to review what we learned yesterday. I'd like you to draw a number line from 1 to 4. And let's actually remember to put our little arrows to show that it still goes on and on forever and ever both ways. And I'd like you guys to divide it into thirds. So don't forget to put your whole numbers, and then you're going to divide each of your wholes into thirds. Go ahead and do that. Press pause and press play when you're done. Dividing your number line up into thirds, you should have divided each section into 3 parts. So you needed to draw 2 lines for each section. If you haven't done it already, I'd like you guys to label your fractions up above. So notice that we're not starting at 0, we're starting at 1. So if we're dividing it into thirds, what is 1 whole worth? How many thirds? Yeah, 3 thirds. All right, go ahead and do the rest of your number line, press pause, and press play when you're done. Okay, so here's what your number line should look like. Make sure to box in the fractions that represent one of the whole numbers. What do you notice all the fractions having in common? What are the same about them? Yeah, they're all thirds. So we have 3 in the denominator because each of our whole is cut up into 3 pieces. What do you guys notice about the whole numbers when they're written as fractions? Do you guys notice that we're counting by 3s? So 3, 6, 9, 12. So it's just like what we talked about yesterday. When you have one whole, you have 3 equal pieces. When you have 2 wholes, you have 3 equal pieces times 2 wholes. When you have 3 wholes, you have 3 equal pieces times 3 wholes, so that gets you 9. And here it was 2 times 3 equals 6. So then what would we predict for 4? If we hadn't written this here, we have 4 wholes, and each whole is cut into 3 parts. So we have 4 times 3 equal pieces. So that would get us to the 12. Now let's make a different number line. So on your notes, go ahead and make another number line, and we're going to do it again from 1 to 4. And go ahead and put in your whole numbers as well. This time, I'd like you guys to put the fractions 2 halves on the number line, 5 halves, 7 halves, and 8 halves on the number line. What do you guys notice about these 4 fractions that I want you to put on the number line? Good. So first you should have noticed that all of them have half in the denominator. So that tells you probably that we're going to be cutting up each whole into halves. So now where does 2 halves, 5 halves, 7 halves, and 8 halves go? Go ahead and do that. Try to put each fraction on the number line where it goes. Press pause and press play when you're done. Let's see how you guys did. So I know that 1 is 2 halves because the top matches the bottom. So I have all 2 of 2 parts. So I'm done with that one. Now I know that each of the wholes are divided in half, so I'm going to put my lines there. I know that 5 halves is greater than 1. So is 7 halves and 8 halves. So all of these are greater than 1, which makes sense because our number line goes greater than 1. So I know that 8 halves is going to go at 4 wholes, because if I have 4 wholes cut into half, that would give me 8 pieces because 4 times 2 is 8. Then 7 halves would be 1 less than that. And then 5 halves would be 2 less than that. Or I could think that 2 wholes was worth 4 halves because 2 times 2 is 4. So then 5 halves would go there. How did you guys do? For your next problem, draw a number line starting at 2 and ending at 5. And then I'd like you guys to place these numbers on, or these fraction numbers on the number line. Don't forget to put in the whole numbers that are missing, and then notice what's the same about these fractions here that can help you know how much you're dividing each whole up into. Go ahead and try that, press pause and press play when you're done. All right, let's see how you guys did. So I know that 2 wholes where I'm starting at is gonna be 6/3, because if I'm dividing each of these into thirds, then if I have 2 wholes cut into 3 pieces, that's 2 times 3 is 6 thirds. Now I need to find out where these ones go. Remember from the first problem how we noticed that if it was a whole number, it was counting by whichever number was on the denominator. So since our denominator is 3, any of the numerators that count by 3 are most likely going to be a whole number. So if I start with 9/3, I know 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 wholes would be 9/3. And 3 times 5 is 15, so I know that 15/3 would be 5 wholes. And then 11/3 is going to be 4 less than that. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Or I could know that 4 times 3 is 12, and that's 12/3, and then 1 less would be 11/3. So there's all kinds of clues that you can use to find the answer. Okay, final problem. Please find 12/3, 15/3, 18/3, and 17/3 on the number line. And you're gonna have our number line start at 4 and end at 6. So think about how many thirds are in 4 wholes, and you're gonna start from there. Don't forget to put your other whole number in here and then divide it up into the fractional parts. All right, you guys, good luck, and we'll see you tomorrow.